This is one of the giant heads of the Olmec culture, located in the National Anthropology Museum in Mexico City. It's about 8 feet tall, made of basalt stone, and most of these were actually found buried within the last 100 years. So whether they were buried on purpose by a later culture than the Olmec, or whether they simply sank into the jungle at this point is unknown. But there are many, many of these. You see the carving, the pitting, and on the back are these curious depressions. Also these very famous little jade figures of the Olmec. You see some have obvious elongated heads. Also amongst the Olmec, there are obvious signs in the sculpture of cranial deformation or elongated heads, probably only amongst the royal class, which is what we also find in other cultures around the world that performed cranial deformation. It was only for the royalty. And then we find the actual examples of cranial deformation among the Olmec people. You can see that these are clearly cradle-boarded, or examples of cranial deformation. Nothing profound in terms of size of the skull, or even the shape.
Paulina, vente.
Mira ese de allá, no da miedo, ¿no? Esto de aquí, está bonito, ¿no? Yo nunca me había metido.
So what we've been able to see is cranial deformation was performed by at least 3 cultures in ancient Mexico. The Olmec, the Maya, and the latter one, whose name I didn't really account for, read properly. But it was only done, like anywhere else on the planet, cranial deformation was only done on the royal people, the priestly class, the chiefly class, to distinguish themselves from the commoners. And that's what we find, where we find cranial deformation on 6 of the 7 continents on this planet. And the most common timeline seems to be, for some reason, 2,000 years ago. I don't think there's a necessary connection with that. But also, the most profound elongated skulls on the planet clearly are the Paracas from the coast of Peru.
Which the Mexicans considered the center of the universe. The great metropolis was designed, adjusted in agreement with the cardinal points, when they took advantage of the fact
Wir haben jetzt gerade so ein ganz tolles Modell von Mexiko. Wir merken eins, dass der große Tempel die Resten
El metro San Antonio, güey.
Ay, no, ya León. Juan.
This is the massive sculpture out of basalt stone. The figure is Tlaloc, which is the rain god. This little girl will give you an indication of the scale of it. You can see there's been a lot of damage. The weight of it, conservatively, I would think at least 60 tons. It was found outside Mexico City, lying flat on its back and abandoned for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and then was finally brought here to the Museum of Anthropology. Doubtful that it's from the Aztec period. It could be Toltec, which is older, or the Teotihuacan people.
Ay,